Morning students, a very hearty welcome to GC Tech Hub CS tutorials. In today's class, we shall be discussing about a few list functions. So let us move on to today's class. So these are some of the list functions which we will be discussing, out of which a few we had already discussed in the previous class. So you can see we have the insert function, pop function, remove function, clear, count, reverse and sort. So we'll start with the insert function. Now this insert function, it is used to insert a new element into a list. Its format is somewhat like this. List object dot insert position and item. So as an example, we can say that if we have a list L1 dot insert 3 comma yellow. So you can see that here 3 is the index of the item, index location at which we are going to insert the element, and yellow is the element which has to be inserted into the list. We can see its example here practically. So I'm going to create a list name colors and I'm going to give some colors to it. And this is going to be something like this. So I'm just going to copy this and paste it here and we will just number them, write the indices. So here yellow will be the first index, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and the negative indices over here. So over here we see that these are the values, and now if I have to insert anything, suppose I want to insert another color named magenta, and that too I want to insert magenta at position or at location 2. Now when I say location 2, it means 1, 2, that is index 1, that or position 1. That is the index. So we will be writing here colors dot insert magenta, sorry, not magenta, we will first write the index of the element, and that will be 2, sorry, 1 comma magenta. So 1 refers to position 2. So here actually we will not say it is pos, it is index. So this is position 2 and the element is magenta. So insert actually allows us to insert any element at any position within the list, unlike the append or extend function, which only allows us to add elements to the end of the list. So colors dot insert, and now I'll be taking the position that is 1 and magenta. And now if I print colors, you can see these are the values. So here blue, red, blue, black, these are just shift to one position towards the right, and magenta takes position 2, that is index 1. So because lists are dynamic data types in Python, hence any element which is added or removed, the list automatically adjusts the list indexing, and it also covers the position, or it expands the list to make room for the new element automatically. Next is pop function. Now what is the pop function used for? So the pop function is used for removing items from the list, but also saving or returning the deleted item. Like if I write here its syntax would be like this: list object dot pop index. Okay, so here index is an optional argument. Why? Because this argument, it can be skipped. If I write here colors dot pop and I don't supply any argument, it will mean remove the element at index -1 or the element at the last index, right? So, and if I write here colors dot pop 3, it means remove the element at index 3. So you can provide negative indices also, and you can provide positive indices also over here. That would remove the element at that particular index location as well as return the value. And if you are not supplying any argument, it will only delete the last element. So let's see it over here. Colors dot pop, I write here simply. So you can see the last element has been removed. Now if I print colors, it has only how many? 5 elements. Now if I write colors dot pop, suppose I want to remove the element red from this. So red technically has 0, 1, 2, 3, index location 3, and if I enter it, red will be removed. And if I print colors, it has already adjusted its list items. And if I try to delete any element which is not there in the list, like I write here -8. So it gives us the error pop index out of range. If you give any index which is not there, which is not a valid index within the list, pop will give you an index out of range error. And the element which is being deleted, that can be even saved somewhere. So I write here item equals colors dot pop, and if I print item, you can see that the item which was deleted from the list, because I have not supplied any argument, so it deleted the last blue, that is which is at index -1 or the last index, and we still have these elements over here because there were 2 blues in this list. Hence one of the blues which was at the end has been removed and it has been saved in item. So this is pop function. Then we have remove function. Remove function is just like pop, but all it does is it accepts the element to be removed. So we use it in this way: list object dot remove and item. We use it in this way. If I write here colors dot remove blue, so it will remove this element blue from the list. So here it is not index which we are supplying as an argument, but element which we want to delete. So we can see it over here. If I write colors dot remove, if I don't supply any value, it gives us an error because it requires one argument, and that one argument is the element which is being deleted. So if I supply blue, it has already removed blue, but it does not return any value, as you can see over here. But that element, if it is present in the list, it is removed. And if I provide any element which is not there in the list, it gives us X not in list, that is value error, if the element is not present in the list. Next is clear. Now this clear function is used to clear a list, that is completely remove all elements from the list. So if I write clear, it just deletes the elements from the list, but the list is not deleted. It is still there as an empty list. If we want, we can add elements to the list. So I can write here, I'm just adding elements once again. I'll scroll up to the top and just I will copy all this. So if I write the elements over here, I'm going to remove one blue element from here. Okay, and so this is colors, and now if I write colors dot so here I had already written clear earlier, so it removes all the elements from the list. Next is count. Now what does the count function do? The count function, it counts the number of times an element occurs in a list, and it is used like this: list object dot count, and we provide the list element. So this function returns the number of times an element is present or it occurs in the list, like colors dot count, and let me provide blue. So I'm just going to add another element over here, colors dot append blue, colors dot append yellow, and again colors dot append blue. And now we will count. So colors dot count blue. So it occurs how many times? 3 times within the list. Colors dot count yellow. It appears 4 times within the list. And if I provide any value which is not there in the list, like aqua, it will give me 0 because it won't give us an error, but it will give us 0 because that element doesn't appear even once in the list. Next is reverse function. Now what is the reverse function used for? It is used for reversing the list. Reversing the list elements. That is, all the elements will occur in the reverse order in the list. So it works like this: list object dot reverse, and it changes the list in place. Because lists are mutable data types, hence now it changes the list in place only. That is, if a list is there, if I have colors and if it points to already a list of elements, so and we can see that these are pointers, so these pointers are just reversed. Okay, so let's see how this works. So we have colors right now like this. Now if I write colors dot reverse, it won't return any value, but when you print colors now you can see that it is reversed. So changes take place in the original list, so we have to be careful with that. The last function is sort, that is to sort the elements, and it is also used to arrange the elements in a particular order, either ascending or descending order. Arrange list elements in ascending or descending order. So here also we write list object dot sort, and simple using sort without any arguments will sort it in the ascending order, and if I want to sort it in the reverse order, then I will write sort, and within this I will provide an argument reverse equals true. So this will sort the elements in the descending order. So let's check it out over here. We have colors. So I'm writing colors dot sort, and if I print colors, you can see all the elements are sorted in the ascending order. B first, then M, R, Y, that is in the, because these are strings, hence the elements are sorted in the ascending order, in the alphabetical order. And if I write colors dot sort reverse equals true, then it will be sorted in the reverse alphabetical order. Similarly, if I have numbers, so I have these numbers, so I can write numbers dot sort. This will sort all the numbers in the ascending order of their values. And if I write numbers dot sort reverse equals true, then it will sort them in the reverse order, that is in the descending order of their values. So students, these were some of the functions. Now we have a program here that is programmed to find minimum element from a list of elements along with its index in the list. So we will be doing this program now. So the program says that we have a list of numbers, and within that list of numbers we need to find the minimum element, that is element with the smallest value, and also its index has to be specified. So let us take the same list which we had taken here. So I'm going to take this list over here. So this is my list, and I'm also going to specify its indices. And its negative indices also. So this is my list. Now I need to find the minimum element along with its index. So how to do that? So we have first created numbers here. Now I want the minimum element. So I'm going to take in a value that is a small variable that is small, and I will just provide the first element, that is number 0 to it. Okay. Now for I in range len numbers. Len numbers will give me the length of the list, that is the total number of elements in the list. And because range, in the range function, the stop, if you are not providing any start value, the start is considered to be 0. Stop value will be 1 less than the actual stop will be 1 less than the number which is provided as the stop value over here, which will be the size of numbers minus 1, and the skip value is already plus 1. So there are two or more ways of doing this. So we'll first see the first way. Now if the idea is, if any of the list elements, if it is less than this small, then we will assign that value to small. So if numbers I is less than small, acha, we can also do one thing, because we have already taken the first element, so we can start I from the second element also, that is from index 1 also if we want. So I'm just writing 1 over here and comma, and if it is less than small, then that means small equals numbers I. And we will also take a variable index over here. Initially we'll give it none, so we will be writing here index equals I. So I've given I, I've saved I over there. and at the end we will be have whatever is there in small, that is the smallest element, and whatever is there in index, that is the index of the smallest element. So how do we do that? Let's see. So first small is going to be number 0, that is 10. For I in range, so we start, because we started I from 1, so we have taken 1 over here, and it will be taking values till len numbers, that is, you can see over here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7, because it has total 8 elements in the list. So because len numbers is 8, so the last index is going to be 7, and the first one we are starting from 1, because the first value, 0th element, is already saved in small. So now if numbers, we are going to write small over here. I'm writing small over here, which is 10. Now if numbers I, so what is numbers I over here? It is numbers 1, which is equal to 15. As you can see over here, 15. So is this number 15, is it less than small? Answer is no. So these two statements won't be executed. Come to the next one, numbers 2, which is equal to 4, as we can see from here. So is numbers I 4, is it less than small? Answer is yes. So small will be now replaced with 4. And index will be I. That is, now the index is going to be 2. Likewise, we'll take the next one, that is 3. What is in 3? It is 1. So is 1 less than 4? Answer is yes. So again, these values will be replaced. So here it will be 1 and the index is going to be 3. Next is 4, which is equal to 25. So 25 is not less than 1. So we will skip that. Next is fifth one. It is 12. Again no. Then next is sixth one, which is 78. Okay. So 78 is still larger. Seventh one is 110. So none of these satisfy. So at the end, smallest value is 1 and the index is 3, which will be printed in the end. So now let's code this quickly over here. So I'm just going to take numbers equals, and I'll quickly copy this. So we take index equals none. Although we don't need this statement, we can simply skip it, and small equals numbers 0. And for I in range, I'm starting from 1 and the end will be len numbers. If numbers I is less than small, then small equals numbers I and index equals I. And at the end, the smallest element is small and its index is index. Let's run the program and see. So the smallest element is 1, as you can see above. So I'll also print the list here. Print numbers equals the list numbers. So this is it, and this will be how it will be printed. And if I just change it, so you can ask for the list from the user. So I'll just write here eval input, enter your list of numbers. So we'll do it for this. Now we are entering a list in this way. Sorry. And you can see the smallest element is 1 over here. So this is the program, and we can also replace this line by another type of statements using for item in collection. So I'm writing here I comma item in enumerate numbers. And here instead of numbers I am going to take item. So what it is going to do is this enumerate function will enumerate the list with the help of one or these positive indices as well as the list element. So I will represent the index and item will represent the number. So we can just do the comparison between item and small, and we can assign item to small if the condition satisfies, and I will contain the index, so that will be allocated to index. So this way also we can just write our question. So this is how we are going to do it. So you can see the index is also given over here in the previous question. Okay, its index is 1, that is 0, 1, and here also the index is 0, 1, 2. So it is written over here. So students, that's all in today's class. In the next class, I will come up with few more things regarding